Hey everybody, my name is Manny. None of you know me, but you will know me. I'm confident of that. I'm going to introduce my group. We're going to get the gears flowing because sometimes this can be nerve-wracking for certain people, but me, I was born for this. So. Now, here's our topic, space, the final frontier. And I'm going to introduce you to my next speaker, Mariana, who's going to take you through the introduction of some of the things that we went through on this topic.
Hello everyone. I, unlike him, was not born for this, but okay, so when we were assigned the theme of Celestial Frontiers, we were a little thrown out of it. We had no idea what we were going to do. Although we were not familiar with the topic of Celestial Frontiers, we thought of how space can be influential and how it has benefited us. We brainstormed ideas, and many of them led back to the benefits space exploration have left on the humankind. We had a guiding question, which was given to us through the Honors in Action book, which was, what are the risks and benefits of exploring the frontiers of outer space? However, we were still not sure where our research was heading. And Daniel brought up a good point. He brought up the fact that that the government is no longer funding NASA adequately for them to continue space exploration. So some people said, well, that's not a problem to us. We have issues here on Earth which we should be focusing on instead of going out in outer space and trying to find something else. However, Tyler and I brought up the point that many of the technologies that we use, like, for example, the camera on your phone, which everyone loves taking selfies with, has been developed as a result of space explorations. And, as people kept adding to the list of things that have been brought about due to space exploration, we decided that the continued funding for space exploration was vital. And that, however, there was still the question of whether we should use the funds to go in outer space or we should use it to fund activities within Earth. And that is when we came about our question, which is, what are the risks and rewards of furthering space exploration? With the point of trying to convince people that we should continue the funding.
I'm also not made for this. I am Yorkalina, and so basically, we just really wanted to know how much money is really being invested into just space exploration. And we were fascinated by the fact that sounds like a lot, but it's really not, only $18.7 billion gets invested yearly to NASA versus $670 billion gets invested into the Department of Defense and $69.8 billion gets invested into education. So if we're going to put that into perspective, why I said it's not really that much is because only 1.2% of taxpayers' money actually goes into space exploration. So it's really not that much money. And then 26.3 goes into the national defense and 4.8 goes into education.
Kind of sad comparisons. All right, for the project, what we wanted to do is set up an art gallery, probably in Newark. And what we were going to do is create 3 different rooms. One room, oh, I'm Dan, by the way. I should start with that. I'm just getting into the flow. Anyway, we're going to set up 3 different rooms, and they're going to be fake living rooms. And one is going to have all the things you have in your living room, and the things that are a result of technology created because of funding in the space program, they're going to be highlighted in it. You know, it's going to emphasize that stuff. And then the next room is going to be what the room would look like if there was no space program in the first place. You know, kind of sad. Think 1930s. But, and then the third room is going to be what we could have if we put more funding into the space program. Because so much technology has come out of that. And other parts, let's see, we're gonna need to, we're gonna be targeting high school students to get them more interested in, engineering and science, astronomy, that kind of thing, and show them the benefits of funding space exploration. And let's see, we'd have 3 committees. There'd be fundraising, obviously, because for a large project like this, you need plenty of money. There's outreach, which would be the people who go to the high schools to get administrators and students to come to the event. And outreach would also collaborate with newspapers and even other chapters, to see how many we can get in the area to come help out, to make this as big an event as possible. And local science centers, as it says up there, and I forgot. Let's see what else we got. Sorry, I just had to double check that I didn't miss anything. But I think it'd be awesome, honestly.
I think it'd be awesome too.
That's why we chose it.
So in conclusion, we're going to wrap some of these things up. But you see this picture here, I actually chose it. I had the great Gary be able to pick this out for me. When you look at this picture here, you kind of see an old style building, something traditional. But there's a lot of symbolism because you see space, you see the stars, you see all the possibility and the contrast, the stark contrast, because it's a reality we're going to face when NASA cannot explore space properly. We can no longer go up to space, we use Russia. Funding levels have dropped, the lowest in the last 6 years, and they keep cutting them. And I'm sorry if I'm in the light, but I just have to move. I'm natural at this. And also, it's the perfect time for anyone to take photos, because I promise you, they're going to be worth something. And back to the topic. Come on, guys. When you see movies like The Avengers, when you see movies for the older generation, Star Trek, although I watched that, you see all the technology and the possibilities. And then we look back in the past, and as we mentioned, the technologies we have now. People don't understand that CAT scanners. People don't understand that this modern cell phone and the microcomputer chip that we use in computers, all results of the progress that were made through people who were willing to explore and go farther than they had before. Before we had space, it was the oceans. So now I ask you, and I leave you here with this thought, space, the final frontier, or is it? The choice is yours. And I'll be ending the presentation, but I also want to give a shout out, because I know I did a lot of speaking, but in all honesty, this project would not be possible with a huge collaboration. And maybe you won't see that up here, but we had people really working hard, sweating under the gun, trying to get this done on time. And I want them to come up. You can slide in. These guys are an awesome team, and at first I felt like we choked, but together we really overcame. And I want to give them all credit for that. Thank you guys. There we go. All right,